You know, it. I see it's still got the same problems for me, which is
Mm-hmm.
it teeters on being bad and
Mm-hmm.
being pretty good. And that's too frustrating for me.
Okay.
You know, um, it's like pick a lane, girl. Pick a lane.
Yeah.
And it teeters from being good to I don't care.
Yes. So, okay.
Uh-oh.
I will say.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Another Relaunch. I am
Hello.
LZ.
Hello, everybody. I am Keenan.
How are you doing today, Keenan?
I'm all right. I feel good. I went to the gym this morning. That is no shock, but I've
Okay.
been doing like a lot more back workouts lately. I've never really been good at them, so I'm trying to get into them a little bit more. And I've been like, so I'm like a little stiff. I can't move certain ways, but we pushing through. And like hopefully by like we'll be in June.
Mm-hmm.
By mid July, we should be where we want to be.
Same. I'm trying to get back on that same kind of track and give myself to that mid-July
Hmm.
to get right. You know.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I feel that it's doable. It's very doable.
yeah.
That's
On
awesome.
another note, I'm going to a like a dinner, like
Mhm.
murder mystery dinner with some friends.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I've never been to one.
Okay, they like so. So my thing is they're very fun, but everybody has to actually be into it. Like
Okay.
if you get the sheet and it says your character has an accent, you have to commit to your accent. Like
Okay.
have fun, let yourself really get into it and play that role. If you just kind of standing on the side reading what's on the paper, you're gonna be annoyed.
So my friends who I'm doing this with, they are definitely going to be like really into it. So I've decided to definitely commit. I'm supposed to be like a housewife. Uh,
Yes.
I know.
I love this for you.
I'm supposed to be like a housewife, but like she's not supposed to be like a mean girl. Like she's shady, but like not mean.
Okay.
Or like um but she is supposed to be like her husband is always away and making a bunch of money. She stays home and is all
Mhm.
about like creating a nice home and very clean. Like I'm supposed to be
Okay.
telling like this
So
really clean.
what you should do when right before you get ready, you should go online, go look up clips of Bree Vandekamp from Desperate Housewives.
Got it.
Bree
Okay.
Vandekamp, like, the, she
I
is the epitome. I know you've never seen Desperate Housewives. Don't worry,
I do not.
I already was fully prepared for that. Um, but she like what you're talking about. She is exactly who you want to be. Very conservative. She's always got her pearls on. She
Pearl.
loves God.
I think I
Boom.
need a pearl set.
That's your muse. That is your muse.
Okay, I'm into it.
All
All right.
right.
Well, let's get started with these comics. And to
Mhm.
kick us off, we are going to talk about a more recent comic that is, I think it's on its third issue now. And that is Invasion from Planet Wrestletopia, starting with issue number one, written by Ed Connell. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if I mispronounced that. And Matt Etten, with art by Dan Skade, and the backup issue by Trevor Richardson.
Okay. I did read this, and I actually kind of like it. So, I don't know if you've seen me tweeting, but I have discovered that all the attractive men live on wrestling Twitter.
You know,
Okay.
I saw you say that and I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? Do I need to dip over there?
So I follow a couple of people who are really into wrestling, and I've been seeing like them interacting with other folks on the wrestling side, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is kind of cool. And so, I watched wrestling when I was younger, but I haven't really been into it so
Okay.
much. But there is a reality series called Total Divas that has like some of the WWE divas like following their life and them on. So I was like, I know a little bit about that, so I can have a little bit of conversation, to be like, oh, I know who the Bellas are. Um, but trying to expand my knowledge, this wrestling comic came actually like at the perfect time. So The story is pretty straightforward. The main character is this guy named Roy Landell. He's like the champion wrestler, but basically the new up and coming person is coming, and so they kind of want him to start bowing out for this new guy. The night of the match, he basically quits. He's like, I am the best. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not like losing my rep for anybody, and he leaves. But during his speech, he announces that he is the champion of like all fighters in the world. And so it goes out to everybody because it's broadcast, and someone from space intercepts it, and they go to their boss and they're saying, hey, here's this guy who just said he is the champion of the world, and this other guy's like, no, I'm the champion of the entire galaxy. So the story kind of ends there, but you kind of assume he's going to be coming down to earth to fight this guy. Have you ever seen the episode of Young Justice where...
Absolutely.
You know exactly
I know exactly. I love that show, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Robot's like, no, this is my master. He needs to fight the strongest being, and he fights Superboy and all that stuff. Yeah,
when
that's what.
Yes,
that's what this issue is giving.
Oh.
Just wrestling, and so the story is pretty interesting. It's really fun. The art is really good. It actually reminds me a lot of Ryan Otley's art. He's the guy who worked on Invincible.
Yeah, I agree with that. That art and like the coloring of it too gives Invincible.
Yeah, like really enjoyable. Motion was great. The characters seem interesting. I'm definitely gonna catch up and read the rest of the issues for sure.
Yeah,
wrestling fans also should do that.
Wrestling fans definitely check this.
Wrestling fan, you should tweet me specifically and let me know what you thought about the issue.
I know that's right. Wrestling fans specifically get at Keenan. All right. Up next is DC Pride #1, and this had various writers and artists. We got stuff from Vita Ayala, Selena Grace, Sam Jones, Danny Lore, Steve Orlando, Mariko Tamiki, James Tynion.
I've been saying
Tynion, apologies. We also got some art from Chris Anka, Steve Byrne, Mildred Louise, Travis Moore, a bunch of different artists in here. Mm-hmm. So what did you think of DC Pride #1?
I actually really like this. So I'm not going to lie to you. I thought this was going to be kind of bad. I thought there would be a lot of heavy-handed pandering in it. And there was a little bit in one particular story, but most of it was actually really good. I thought the Batwoman story was great. I love the story with Estrano and Constantine talking about Midnighter. I enjoyed the Harley and Poison Ivy story. I was like, this is cool. It also made me realize, I was like, oh, DC has a nice little roster of gays.
Yeah, I, like you, was expecting this to be bad. I was expecting this is just to be a whole bunch of like very low-hanging fruit jokes and a lot of pandering and stuff, but these are actually very well-written stories and some very interesting stuff that I didn't really know about a lot of the characters, because some of these characters I just weren't really that into before, so I don't really know their backgrounds. Like Batwoman, I only know stuff about her just through, I don't know, some animation, some movies that I've seen and stuff, so I didn't really know a lot about this Alice character and all that stuff, and like what was really going on with Mad Hatter, I assume is
sister. It was a lot of stuff that went on in her first run with, like, she had a sister who died, but the sister was like coming back, and she was like this kind of evil person. But it was really good. The art in that series used to be amazing. J.H. Williams, he used to do these phenomenal spreads that just showed her in action, and it was beautiful stuff. Betty Kane was a part of that as well. She came in as Flamebird. She got this ugly costume. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say it was ugly. It was different. I'm actually a fan of Betty's original, like, yellow and red tacky mess. So this new one was like black and orange. It did give her this nice little headpiece though.
Oh, I like it.
I love a headpiece. But yeah, it was a good book. I highly recommend it, especially for anyone who's trying to get into Batwoman.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, because I thought her DC Pride story was very interesting. And yeah, they were all pretty good. I wish they would have tried a little bit harder on Extraño's costume.
Yeah.
It was
He looks like Doctor Strange, right?
just Doctor Strange. Yeah.
And it's like so I don't know if you read the Apollo and Midnighter miniseries that Steve Orlando wrote.
Yes, I did. Yes.
But so that's when he brought him back. And
Mhm.
it was like a really big deal because no one had used the character in so long. So I love that Steve, every time he comes back to DC, he finds a way to put him in there and like really keep that consistency with the character growing.
Yeah.
I do, like you said, wish they would give him a little bit of a different look and embrace. I get they were trying to move away from kind of the stereotypes of what he had in the past and how his design looked then, but I think some of those aspects could be brought back into a more positive light. Bring back his long hair. And I don't even like long hair, but bring it back.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I would just wanted them to just give them a little something more than, white sides and a red cape. It's giving Doctor Strange.
It's just not there. I also really enjoyed the Alan Scott and Obsidian story.
Yes.
But I'm an Obsidian guy, so I was like, oh yeah, this is what I came for. And obviously Jackson had the biggest story at the end, which I think is really great for his character and just kind of what DC is trying to do for him. Again, we just got an announcement that he is now going to get his own miniseries written by Brandon Thomas, who wrote the Future State Aquaman series, so I'm really excited about that. And in this, they're calling him Aquaman. So it seems that they're really going to make that push for him, which is like fantastic, and I'm all here for. That is a story I say it felt a little bit heavy-handed. When the JLQ jumped out,
I was like, okay, this is.
I was like, I get it. And then I will say
when
also,
they opened and they were at the Pride Parade, I was like, all right, I see what this is gonna be.
it was cute. I will say there was a glaring lack of Thunder and Grace Choi in this stuff.
Yes.
But she has her other history issue coming out soon, so I won't delve on it too much. But they did deserve to be here.
Yeah, I did find it interesting in that the Green Lantern and Obsidian story, they kind of changed his origin story a little bit through the telling of that. I'm not sure if many people know about Alan Scott Green Lantern, but he wasn't always gay. And then they kind of made the Earth 2 version of Alan Scott gay, but they kind of made him younger. And in that version, he was like the same age as like Hal and all the rest of them. Yeah, and like Obsidian, yeah. like Obsidian didn't even exist, and they just kind of made him gay. And the way that they made him a Green Lantern was he was on like a date, I think, with a guy, and then wherever they were, like it exploded, and the boyfriend died, and that's how he got his ring. Well, they like gave that story just to the older Alan Scott. And I think I kind of preferred it this way a lot more than the other way. The other way felt kind of forced.
Okay. I was actually also shocked that they did not put a Wonder Woman story in here.
That's true. Yes.
Because they did finally kind of let her be bisexual. And who was writing that run? Rucka, when he took over Wonder Woman. He had that story that kind of confirmed she had relationships with women on Paradise Island. So
I've always heard that run was really good. I have some of it. I've never started it.
I read a couple issues. It felt like a Wonder Woman book.
I see the shade there, so I get it. I get it. I see what you're trying to say. It's always shocking that they seem to always want to take her out of any kind of pride or like gay things where she's obviously had relations with women.
Yeah. I don't know. They do it to Betsy too. Something in the water.
What would you rate this Pride issue?
I would give it a 7. I think, like I said, a lot of the stories were really well done. The pinups throughout were also very nice. I remember when they did the one for the Asian superhero celebration, and they had the pinups in there. Those were also very good. The Catman one was fantastic. Shout out to Nick Robles for that one.
Yeah, I like his art.
Very good. So yeah, again, towards the end, it was a little like, okay, this is here's the after school special. But again, you gotta have that in there, so I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Out of 10 for me, I would have given this one a 7.5 or an 8. Yeah, I thought it was
Mm.
actually really good. I was
Yeah.
again pleasantly surprised by
Okay.
how good it was, how well it was written. The art was really great. I really liked the I really enjoyed the page of Midnighter and Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo kind of floating there. Loved it by David Talaski. I thought that was really dope.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, great issue. Definitely check this
Cool.
one out, y'all. Okay, up next is Heroes Reborn number 6 by Jason Aaron
Mm-hmm.
and Erica D. Urso. Take it away, Keenan. Tell us what happened.
So, Heroes Reborn is the event of the summer. And
I see.
I'm just letting everybody know that they need to get in. So this issue, again, the issues have been spotlighting different members of the Squadron Supreme. This one issue spotlights Power Princess Zarda, who is the Wonder Woman analog. I posted a couple pages on Twitter, and some people are like, "Oh, I just see Diana," and I'm like, "Yes, that is the point." Again, the Squadron Supreme was created as the Marvel Justice League. They are going to be similarly like that.
Yeah.
But she's just a fun woman. She talks about how all of her sisters from her island, Utopia Isle, are gone, and she misses them. She misses getting drunk with them. She loves her wine. She talks about that quite frequently. She lives in the Statue
Okay.
of Liberty, and she has this like magic mirror that she talks to, and she's just like, "You need to find me some wine. I'm trying to get drunk." And she talks about like different people who she fought. She's killed magic in this timeline because she was an evil demon limbo sorceress. She is very
Oh
bloodthirsty.
my. Okay.
Yeah, she like loves to fight. She loves to battle. She's like, if I'm not fighting somebody, there needs to be a drink in my hand. And so,
I was
a
like, she
few
could be my
issues,
kind of girl.
yeah, like you would really enjoy this issue. Like you would really enjoy it. And so, a few issues earlier, Thor kind of started waking up and realizing that the world he's in isn't right. So he's in Asgard. She has this axe that she has pieces of the Bifrost in, and like when she slams that onto the ground, she transports to Asgard. It is like she looks good. The axe is hot, okay? Like it's a hot weapon. And so she runs into Thor, and he's like, something's wrong. Where's Asgard? She talks about how like she killed the people of Asgard, and all the gods ran away, but it didn't matter because she was there to protect people, and they love her, and so they start fighting. She has this invisible blade called the No Blade that she stabs him with.
Oh
He's
wow.
like he's using some of his god powers on her. It's a really dope battle. The art is like fantastic. It's very
I'll
kinetic.
take an
It's very
invisible
fun.
blade over an invisible plane any day.
It's like she's giving, and Thor finally like teleports away somewhere, and she's just like, okay, that was weird. So, but she makes this comment, and she talks about how his blood smells like booze, and she wonders if she spills enough, will she get drunk? And she's like, and she's like, I
Oh
hope so.
wow.
Yeah. She's like, I hope so. And so he kind of gets away, and so she goes on this thing. She's like, no, I'm gonna find this guy. I'm gonna take him out, and that's in the end of her story. Then we kind of get the backup, which is Aaron telling the stories about the different heroes and Thor in this new world, and how he's kind of just been lollygagging through life. He's actually been around Power Princess before during the war, but he was like so drunk and in his depression that he never realized it. But now that he's starting to come out of the funk, Echo, as the Phoenix, runs into him, and she's like, you woke up and you realized the world was wrong, join the club. And so that's where it ends. And so the next issue is actually the last issue of Heroes Reborn. It's only 7 issues, but then
Okay.
Heroes Return starts. So I don't know if he is going to like end it all next issue, or if we're just going to go to Heroes Return and then like they're going to do whatever with the Squadron Supreme.
Well, damn. Is Heroes Return its own event? Is it another like 7 issues?
I don't know, honestly. I was assuming that it was like going to be a special issue that would jumpstart a new Avengers book,
Mm.
but I don't know now.
Yeah, because I haven't seen any announcements for anything about the Avengers post Heroes Reborn yet.
Oh, so
And I guess like Heroes Reborn is coming to an end soon, so
yeah, so it's like because he's got again all of the heroes kind of finding together. We've got the Star Brand baby who just got found by the Intergalactic Wakandan Embassy. You have the Squadron Supreme members who are also starting to realize that hey, there's a group that's trying to change things for us, and they don't really want things to change. It's a lot. The Squadron Supreme is kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie.
well,
Like,
I mean, they are fun. I've had a lot of fun with them in uh the new Avengers stuff back when that Secret
mhm.
Wars was happening. They were a lot of fun then.
I think my thing has always been that I've only kind of known Hyperion, and I don't really care for Hyperion. But really getting into the other ones, Blur,
Dr. Spectrum.
Dr. Spectrum, Nighthawk, Zarda, and like seeing these stories play out, and how even the Hyperion, how Jason Aaron wrote him was a lot more interesting. It might just be Jason Aaron though. He's doing some good work on this. I would give it. I don't know why I said 10 earlier. Out of 5.
Okay.
I will give this a 4 out of 5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, really, really good. And I only kind of.
Heroes Reborn seems to be really shaping up to be a dope event for you.
It's the event of the summer. I'm telling you. Y'all at your galas, you need to come over here.
I mean, I saw this one tie-in for it that had Elektra leading some team. So I thought about maybe jumping in with that.
So I didn't get into any of the tie-ins. I actually think I'm going to wait for those to get on Marvel Unlimited to go back and read those, just because there were so many, and I was like, I'm not about to buy all of these. But I did. A lot of them looked really interesting. There was like one with Magneto, and he had his own mutant force that had like Frenzy on it. That looked super dope. That one you're talking about with Elektra. There were a few that I was like, this could be interesting. So I think people should get into it.
All right, y'all. Well, check that out if you're into all the Elseworlds madness going on over there with Jason Aaron. Next up is Excalibur 21 by Teenie Howard and Marcus Toe. And we are continuing more Hellfire Gala shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
And, this issue for me, I had already dropped Excalibur. So I came back into it with this one because it's a part of the Hellfire Gala, so I wanted to see what was going on. And I see it's still got the same problems for me, which is it teeters on being bad and being pretty good. And that's too frustrating for me.
Okay.
It's like pick a lane, girl. Pick a lane. And anytime that the focus is on Betsy and whatever she's doing, it's pretty good stuff coming out of it. I really like the stuff that was going on with Pete Wisdom. I really like the stuff that was going on with Betsy's finally like speaking up for herself. Honestly, this feels like the first time, I would say, in a long time since she's been Captain Britain, where we actually see her claiming that this is hers in front of people, and there's no it's not coming from someone else, this isn't her in the other universe or anything like that. It's Betsy saying it for herself. So that was some great stuff. Everything else, I can Richter is, I don't even know who that even is. Although maybe I don't know who Rick. This could very well be Richter. Maybe I don't really pay too much attention anyway. So maybe this is the Richter. But whoever this character is, he's annoying.
Okay, I agree with that.
This book for me, it teeters from being good to I don't care.
Yes. So, okay.
Uh-oh.
I will say I actually enjoyed this issue a lot, especially compared to like a few of the previous issues where I was teetering and talking about how frustrating. I will always agree with you that Excalibur is a frustrating book. I have said that myself. I think that this issue is again one that shows Teeny's improvement, but I also am a little biased right now just because I recently reread all the previous issues of Excalibur. And I think that's kind of one of the issues that this book has, is that to really understand what's going on in it, you have to go back and read everything first. And it's like, I shouldn't have to go back to issue 4 to really understand or even remember what is supposed to be happening in issue 21 now, or trying to make sense of that. It should be able to stick out enough that I'll instantly recall it, or you should make more callbacks to it in the issue itself, so it doesn't just seem like it comes out of nowhere. I think this is the first time that the Coven Akaba has actually been interesting, and they've actually succeeded in something. And I think them taking away the political connection of Krakoa in the UK is very cool. Especially given the fact that Betsy doesn't seem to care about Britain at all. And again, I realized this in my reread when I was going back. When Otherworld monsters first started invading Britain, she was in London, and then she left. to go back to Krakoa, while the monsters were literally still setting things on fire. And so it's very interesting, and it's so interesting to see how the Coven has used that so easily, and how easily she made it. And even so, where they're sitting here telling her, you know, you don't have Britain's favor anymore. All she's really talking about is Otherworld and Avalon. She's like, no, I'm Captain Britain. Again, I fully agree with you that I love this is the first time she's spoken up for herself, and she's actually said something that seems worthwhile and like true to her character. Hope we continue down that trend. I also fully agree that the book suffers the most currently when it focuses on Richter. I think that Richter is not an enjoyable character. He comes off very unlikable, and I think that when you've already been writing so many characters as kind of angry and floating around sadness, having one more do it again in such a loud way. At least before, like, Betsy was sullen, she was quiet, but she was keeping herself. Like, Richter is just like actively being annoying and like miserable and like bringing bad energy to the party. Like, Betsy even asked him at the beginning of the issue, "Are you going to be in an ugly mood all night?" And surely he is.
Yeah.
I also think the interactions with Shatterstar were a little strange. I'm going to be real with you. I personally do not care about the Rick Star relationship. Whether they are together or not has no effect on me whatsoever. But I do think that the reaction Richter had to him, it was a little over the top, and then the rest of the team kind of coming in. Even Betsy, when she said to Richter, like, or Shatterstar, like, "Oh, you should go get a drink somewhere else." It was just kind of like, why? You don't even know that man.
Right.
Like, why are you acting like that?
That almost made me feel like that was on purpose to kind of restart their relationship, because I don't even know when was the last time they were even on like panel or together.
I think it was in Shatterstar's miniseries. I think, but if I recall correctly, even then they were kind of like together but not together. It might have been that New Mutants Dead Souls mini. But
And
again,
that was like a long time ago.
The relationship for me has always been like on a kind of semi-casual basis. I look at Richter and Shatterstar as they are going to be together one day, for sure. But right now, they're together when it's convenient.
Mm.
So it wasn't really that big of a deal to me. But again, maybe this just isn't Richter, or maybe I just don't know Richter as well as I thought I did. I did have a few Richter fans tweet me when I said that he was annoying about this, that this feels like Richter to them. He's always been emotional, or he's always been kind of sullen, and they say it rings true. So that just made me, I was like, maybe I just don't like Richter. I will say the moment of him creating the island was very nice and a nice little moment of power. But again, I think it just ties into the story of him being a druid, which is weird, and I don't care about it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. That again was another plot line where I'm like, I don't like that.
and I think where Howard shines is obviously where she focuses on one or two characters in the story.
Yeah.
And right now, those one character has always been Betsy, and before the other one was Apocalypse. For a brief time, it was Rogue, and then that was really just more so she could talk about Betsy. And then the other, right now, it's Richter, and I think it's just Richter isn't enjoyable. So his parts are always going to feel bad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. At least going forward from here, there probably won't be too much of that, because this team, Rogue left to go be on the X-Men now. So now there's one less person like not standing around doing anything. So now it can really focus even more on Betsy.
I think Megan's going to join her though. Join the team.
Is she pregnant? She's obviously pregnant.
Yeah, but she's on the cover for one of the future issues, because I think they're supposed to go back to Otherworld and they're gonna like fight Merlin, and they're all chained up, and she's on the cover with the team. Chained up.
Okay.
Yeah. This book. Let's be real. This book is a lot more digestible when you fully acknowledge that it's a Betsy solo. Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand why that is frustrating for fans of the other characters, especially if you're like, I know the Gambit and Rogue fans have been having a really tough time with this book. Jubilee fans, I don't know too many Jubilee fans. I also just don't really think Jubilee has anything to do. Like, she's been a mother since the all women X-Men series, or whenever she became a mom. Like, Excalibur cannot be blamed for Jubilee's stagnation and characterization. All right, like, it has nothing to do with them. Like, that ain't Betsy's fault. This is just who Jubilee is now.
Yeah, she been
So
there.
whatever. So it's like whatever. But for like Rogue Gibbons, like it truly is a Betsy solo. And like even when you go back to the beginning of the book and you look at some of the stuff that Apocalypse did and how he was kind of running the show, a lot of the stuff that he did was also to prep Betsy up as her role as Captain Britain. And so it was like a lot of things just happened to coincide and work out in their favor together. It has always been about the dog. I am sorry. But I feel like once you kind of go in and you recognize that, it's just like, oh, okay. There's a lot less frustration.
Yeah.
Because I think that was always one of the biggest things is that, this team doesn't feel like a team. You don't really call back. Even Gambit, like Gambit has been to Otherworld before. He was like King of the Fairies. He's worked with Pete Wisdom. This happened in his solo series by James Asmus. That was actually kind of good. So it's like, it's weird that like Teeny wouldn't call on any of that stuff for Gambit in this book. But it's also just like, I guess the story isn't about them. So I should stop expecting it.
I really hope that going forward, maybe Betsy recruits her own team this time around, because wasn't everybody else kind of recruited to rescue Betsy in the beginning?
So, and that's also what I've come to realize, because I think that's been another thing that a lot of people have complained about. It's like, why are any of these people here? But when the team was originally recruited, yeah, it was basically like, oh, you have this random connection to Betsy right now. But then it was issue 4 or 5 after she met with the Queen to talk about Excalibur and like the monsters invading Otherworld and her being Captain Britain. She talks about how she told the Queen, okay, this is the team I have because they're all around me. They're going to be the ones to help me deal with it. They were officially named Excalibur. Like they are the official team. Like the public is supposed to know them. I think they make a note of that at this Hellfire Gala issue. They're like, oh, this is her first public appearance in months with the team Excalibur, but also we didn't really see Excalibur out that much beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, but I guess the story never needed to, because again, it was really only about Betsy. We saw Betsy out in public.
But I think people are coming for a team though. It's called Excalibur, not Captain Betsy.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
If the book was called Captain Britain, then I would be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. I that's why I said I understand why it's frustrating that it's called Excalibur. You're coming for this team, and it's not called Captain Britain. I just also understand why Marvel would call it Excalibur rather than Captain Britain, because branding matters.
Yeah. They're not gonna do
that. But I also do think that a part of it is just because that's how Howard writes. She is great when she's kind of narrowing in on 1 to 2 characters and telling that one linear story. It just doesn't happen to be most of the cast.
Now, what would you rate this book?
I would give it a 3 out of 5. Again, as a Betsy fan, I enjoyed it. If I'm like coming at it straight from that, like, to be perfectly honest with you, like everything that's going with Betsy, like I love it. I personally do not care about Gambit. I personally do not care about Jubilee. I do not like Richter. Rogue is fine, but she's also leaving the book to go be an X-Men. So it's like the only person I'm really here for is getting the story. She's getting the depth. She is like, we're digging into her character. She is finally kind of waking back up and getting to herself and being assertive. She is like forming friendships with these women, and you are dealing with identity versus duty, and like her sadness and just overcoming that. And like, I'm okay with that. Cool. Like, I'm ready. I wish it was a little bit more exciting in certain things, like especially in terms of fighting. It's a book about mutant magic. Like there should be a more sense of whimsy and adventure, and I'm hoping that with the return to Otherworld, we get back to that, because that's what's really needed. Like, again, we love a good story. We need these characters to grow and do this, but they're also superheroes. Where is the fighting?
Yeah.
I think the scene with Morgan was also really nice when the Coven killed Pete and used his blood for the spell to wake her up and like get her to move through a Krakoan gate. Like, again, that's why I said this is the first time the Coven has been very interesting. I feel like they are actually a threat now, as opposed to just these bumbling folks. There are some things here and there that kind of don't hit. A couple of voices still feel off, but I just think at this point, this is how Teenie writes these characters. So I have to meet it where it's at. Like, this is her version of them. So she writes that fine. I might not enjoy it all the time, but hey, I'm still reading it.
I'm gonna give this issue a 2.5 out of 5. Most of that coming from Betsy's moments in it. I really appreciated her finally like taking hold of her voice and feeling like Betsy again. I thought the Betsy Rachel moments were a little pandery and random.
We'll see how that. I'm trying not to comment on that one yet.
No.
Because
Totally down for Betsy to have a girlfriend. But I don't know about Rachel.
I mean, Betsy has bad taste, so I don't even know. I'm not upset about that. Honestly, it's truly just in how it'll be handled. I think that that moment can come off a little bit queer baity, depending on how, like, neither one of the women has explicit, despite Betsy being with a woman, Marvel does not acknowledge her as bisexual, and Rachel herself, despite having a lot of coding in her story, has never also been explicitly noted to be gay, bisexual, pansexual, whatever. So until one of those women actually does that, or both of those women do that, you can just hand wave this to gals being pals, and just a very deep personal friendship that's happening, which is also fine. But I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm here for this relationship, or I like this relationship, and then like it turns out to be nothing, because that's happened before with Betsy and writers saying they want to do this thing with her and give her a girlfriend and really cement something, and then that not happen.
Ooh, that sounds like that still hurt. Ooh, that sounds like that still hurt. All right, well, going on with the gala, up next is X-Men number 21 by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Russell Dodderman, Lucas Wernick, and Sarah Pacelli. And I really enjoyed this one. I had a good time. Opened with Namor meeting up with Professor Xavier and Magneto, and basically them offering him a seat on the council, and Namor doing his typical arrogant wave off, like, no, you would need me on the council. I don't need to all this. I don't need to get invited. Also, I control 70% of this world. What do you have? A little island? Call me when you get something bigger than that. Until then, I can do what I'm gonna do, which I thought was interesting. Then we get the X-Men voting for the X-Men, which Jean comes in and, of course, being super dramatic, and floats in with her dress on, and all of the X-Men and her wig, being led in by her. I don't know if they're still married or what they are. Cyclops, and Cyclops saying, it's time for us to reveal the X-Men, but everyone needs to vote. So they were telepathically linked up, and by everyone, I mean every mutant around the world, including the mutants who were even out in space. Jean telepathically reaches out to all of them, and they're all linking with each other and having a talk. Doctor Strange lets Johnny Storm know that that's kind of what's going on. They've all linked up with each other, and they're voting and having a conversation on who should be on the X-Men, who they should champion behind. Cersei says, they aren't doing this in secret. If you have the ability to listen, which obviously she can. I think she has some telepathic abilities or something like that. It's open for you to listen. Actually, I don't think she does. She probably was actually commenting on that Doctor Strange can, and he was using his abilities at that time and seeing. And it's like, if you could listen in, this isn't in secret. It's them being prideful on who they are and their culture. And then we get the reveal of the X-Men team, and it's Rogue, Sunfire, Wolverine, of course, Jean, and Cyclops, Sync, and then the Green Queen herself, Polaris. And yeah, then we get a bunch of different Sinister secrets, which were fun. Did you kind of figure out any of those?
I really only paid attention to the one about Betsy and Juan, I'm not gonna lie. And then the one about Apocalypse. Those are the standouts.
Yeah. So like I tried to figure out some of them. Most of them were kind of easy to kind of figure out. So Sinister Secret number 51 was says this quiet council member isn't fooling anyone. They're fooling everyone. Wear a mask long enough and eventually it starts wearing you. Such a shame not being able to let things go.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think they were talking about?
I just thought it was Mystique.
Right, but then didn't she also have another one where it was like Sinister Secret 52 was about Mystique, and it said that she, this character will get what they want, and otherwise they'll burn it down.
I mean, it could be who else wears a mask? Do you consider Xavier's little cerebral thing a mask?
Oh, I guess that's true.
He could be the other one.
He could be the other one.
And he got a lot of secrets too, so.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I thought this was great. I thought this was a lot of fun. And then we finally end up with the end of the night where it's time for the fireworks moment, I guess. And
I'm so tired of hearing about these fireworks.
I know.
And I only say that especially because like I think about the year we've had, and like people were letting off fireworks all the time. Like especially in like the early days of the pandemic when we were like stuck in the house. I don't know if that was some way people would like finally just find a way to sneak out or going up to their roof or something, but they were I hate fireworks now. I never want to hear them again.
Well, Emma Frost wanted everybody at this party just to see the fireworks, and
she would.
She really would. She linked up everybody's minds, and she lets off this kind of telepathic show for everyone to see, and she lets everyone knows that was the evening's end, and it's not the end actually, but the beginning of a new age, and it looks like something's going on out in space.
You're going to Mars.
Yeah.
I thought this issue was fun. I've kind of like sat with myself and figured out that I don't think I was really going to get too much from the gala about what I thought I was going to be, but I'm excited to see just different mutants interacting with each other and all the cameos throughout. Not the celebrity ones; those are awful, and I think they should not have been done.
Yeah.
But
I mean, those celebrity cameos, I feel like that was just a reminder that Marvel is a corporation, and they have so many deals with like ABC and Disney that's why all of their trailers premiere on Jimmy Kimmel, which is a part of the Disney affiliate.
Betsy was talking to somebody in a Wu-Tang sweater in this issue in one of the Lucas Wernick pages, and I was just like, this is just so. I was just like, why? Just like, why? But I really did enjoy the moment of Jean kind of like getting all the mutant votes and Cersei in her comments. Also love seeing Cersei. I saw so many of my favorite people drawn by like so many good artists in here. Thor was there, Cersei was there. I saw Danny in the background. It was like it was some good stuff.
Was there. I loved Lucas Wernick's Exodus moment because it looked like all of the Omegas were getting called by Kid Omega together.
Yeah.
And they were going to go off and do something, and I loved seeing Exodus make a little cameo.
Yeah, so that was really nice. I did not care too much for. I mean, I get why we did Emma's part at the end, but it's Emma, whatever. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun book.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting too much from the gala to begin with. Before going into it, it's just I know it's just going to be a bunch of pretty clothes. I was really going. And I'm excited for Planet-size X-Men and X-Men.
Most definitely.
Those are the things I'm looking forward to the most. I really hope that they stick whatever like landing that they've been hyping up and building up with the mutants either terraforming this planet or taking over another planet. I don't know what they're doing out there, but I really hope that they really like stick that landing and show us whatever they've got big planned.
Agreed.
And if they do terraform this planet, I'm going to give my life watching X-Men form this planet together. You'll have Storm up there creating probably an atmosphere. Jean.
Matrix is supposed to be up there. King Jamie.
Linking them all up together. Yes.
This could be fun.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. It better be.
What would you rate this book?
I would give this 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, loved it. Fun.
Yeah.
Great
Right.
cameos. Nice art
Same.
to see.
I'd give it like a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, really, really. The spread of the new X-Men team was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was excited for them before, but the more I think about it, I am kind of excited to see Sunfire, Polaris, maybe a little bit of Sync.
I know
You
that's
know,
right.
Gen X doesn't normally deserve, but let's see what he gives.
You know who I'm there for. So, I'm
Gene.
who? Oh,
I'm sorry, Marvel Girl.
Marvel Girl. That's what you call her when she's out in the field, right?
Yeah, because she's a
Um,
superhero. That's why she wears a mask.
there you go. Exactly. But no, I'm here for Miss Lorna Zane. Hilarious. I can't wait to see my girl out there finally be with the X-Men. So, uh, all right, let's take a break and then we will come back for another panel.
Mm. Hello, 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 hello. We are back for the panel of this week, and we're going to be having a villains panel this week. So I'm pretty sure we had an MCU villains panel before. But, I was reading Excalibur, and I talked about the Coven and how I felt like this was the first time they've actually seemed a little bit interesting. And, then obviously I watched Loki this week, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. And it just kind of had me thinking about villains all over the world, all throughout comics, who we like, what kind of gets them, because as I was reading the Coven, they kind of seem like the type of villains who would have jumped out to me from the very beginning. Everybody knows I love a cult. Like that shit's been.
That's your thing.
I love a cult and I love magic, so it was just like I could not understand why they were not connecting with me. But again, I realized they didn't really seem to have too much motivation. It was just like rampant racist, and it's like I can't get behind that. So, I think now actually giving them a little bit of, I guess, motivation. They have some power now. They actually seem like a little bit of a threat. They've like got Morgan back on their side. I was like, okay, now this is kind of what's getting me. And so we talk a lot about the heroes we like, but I've realized I've never really gotten too deep into your villains and the types that you like, what kind of makes them tick for you, some of your top ones, who would you like to see like fighting certain people, things of that nature. So um, I'm gonna go ahead and let you have the floor.
Ooh, sure. Okay, so I when we talked about villains and you wanted to have this kind of discussion, it made me look at my favorites,
Mhm.
and I realized my top 5 favorite Marvel characters, uh, 4 out of 5 of them started as villains. you know, and so that's like Polaris
Mhm.
started as a villain,
Mhm.
um, Wonder Man, Exodus,
Mhm.
Magneto.
Type. Type.
I kind of have a type there. The only one was Sue Storm. So, but they definitely have versions of her where they fought like villainous versions of her from alternate universes. But so I think I really do like the villains, at least when they kind of turn to the more heroic side.
Yeah.
Uh, but it made me really start to look at like the villains I like who stay villains and they
Mhm.
are and like what their motivations are and those kind of types.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy a villain that wants to get the job done.
Okay.
So, like, I feel like too often there is a everyone has to get along kind of thing in
Yeah.
comics, and there aren't any real stakes with stuff. And
Mhm.
while that can be fun and
X-Men Red.
shade, while that can be fun, I do prefer that it to be a little bit more grit. Now, that's not to say that like just because something is edgy that makes it good. No,
Mhm.
but like everything doesn't have to be all like bubbly and friendly either. So I do
Yeah.
prefer villain that like is going to get the job done.
It's a
So
bad.
like
It's a bad person, and like they're okay
exactly,
with being a bad person.
exactly, which is why my favorite Marvel villain is Nimrod and
Mm.
Bastion.
Oh, Bastion's a good one. Oh,
I kind of put them together because Bastion is supposed to be like a Nimrod fused with a human kind of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever
Mm-hmm.
Bastion is around, he has like an army of Nimrods.
Yeah.
So I kind of put them together, but like Bastion is for sure like my favorite kind of villain because again, he's gotten the job done. Like Hellion is one of my favorite character X-Men characters, and still to this day, he still don't have hands because of what
Okay.
Bastion did. You know,
That was iconic. Bastion did
Nightcrawler
that.
is around right now, but let's not forget Bastion killed him
Mm-hmm.
in that same event. So I really enjoy a villain who is not going to kind of hold back because of whatever kind of, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
corny, oh my gosh, I can't really kill this thing because of whatever kind of moral thing that they
Yeah.
have for them. I prefer them to want to
Yeah.
go all the way and
I
do
can
it.
feel that.
Especially when they kind of view what they're doing as something great.
Noble.
Yeah. You know, they always say that the best villains see themselves as the heroes of their own story,
Mm-hmm.
and most of my favorites do that. Like Bastion, another one of my faves, obviously, is a classic, Doctor Doom,
Mm.
which I think Doctor Doom might be one of my favorite Magic characters, which tells you how I feel about Magic.
I was about to say, that is a shame. I
I
mean,
mean,
but they do love putting Doom in some magic stuff. I'll give you that.
yeah, I mean that's kind of how he got started when he was first getting into like his whole Doctor Doomness.
Mm-hmm.
He was like studying magic, trying to get his mom back via magic and
Mm-hmm.
everything with stuff in Liberia. But we can talk about Doom another day in his whole history. He's actually a powerful like
Mm.
sorcerer. Um, and I think that's always been very interesting to see with him against Reed, because Reed is always looking at magic as something that just does not make sense to him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas Doctor Doom is willing to go into magic to accomplish whatever he needs to get done, which is
Hey, I
why,
respect
yeah, you know.
it. I agree with you about like having a villain who kind of wants to do something. I think the way you kind of look at yours is different than how I look at mine, though. A lot of the villains who you talk about seem to have almost the goal of conquest in mind,
Yes.
a little bit. I don't think too many of the villains I enjoy necessarily care about conquest. It's more so about just like their personal goal. So it's not necessarily, I don't need to like conquer this nation because I want to be in charge. Like I just need to conquer this nation because I don't know, I don't like that other guy.
Hmm.
It's just like I think one of my favorite villains obviously is Black Manta,
Yeah.
and I think about his relationship with Aquaman, how his always just kind of been about revenge. Like he does a lot of bad stuff, but it's truly like not for anybody else. He's like, I just want to kill this guy because he did something bad to me. And even when Dan Abnett came when he took over the Aquaman book, he kind of switched his motivations around and made it more so he was now in charge of this group called Nemo, and they were basically just terrorists on the water. But again, his whole thing wasn't because, oh yeah, this is something I want to do. He met the main guy, and the main guy was like, oh, trying to down talk him, and so Black Manta killed him, and then it was just like, oh, now I'm in charge. uh,
I mean, that's one way to take over a group.
you know what I'm saying? It's like it's never really the intention. It might just become a circumstance of it, but they are very driven in whatever their personal goal is. Not even just talking about comics. One of my like favorite villains of all time is actually the Night King from Game of Thrones,
Oh yes.
and simply because he just wanted to end human life, and like that was his goal. He was like, I truly don't care about what happens or what, I'm just going to get to my finish point, and like yes, I'm all about that.
See, the Night King is also great because he kind of fits my brand there. Because you mentioned mine are like conquest, but I don't think that conquest is their main goal.
Hmm.
That I think a lot of mine have their own goal of it's very simple of I'm trying to take over this one thing. But
Hmm.
a lot of my favorites, it probably looks like conquest because they have like waves and waves of like lackeys or drones or whatever, because a lot of my favorite characters are energy manipulators. So usually they're villains, and so by way of that, the villains I end up liking are, they usually have like hordes of stuff like at their disposals that the hero that they're fighting can actually like have some stakes for them to be up against, because like Captain Marvel can't just like blast a Black Manta. That's too easy.
I mean, she could try.
She don't want to full-time blast him in the face and then be over. So like, you have to fight waves and waves of enemies for it to actually like kind of have something for them, or it's just like something so powerful that it makes it feel like there is some weight there. So yeah, I love a good character that has like waves of lackeys for them.
They're trying to. I think a lot of my favorite villains are too selfish to really, but I think that's something I appreciate in a villain, because for me, villainy, evilness is really just caring about yourself. Like, again, that is why you're able to do the bad things that you do, because you do not care about anybody else. And I think a lot of my villains really embrace that they're truly Enchantress.
Yes. Is she a villain?
Yeah. I love her down, but yeah. And it's like even so, her big whole thing is like, she's come to the defense of Asgard before, but that's just more so because she's like, no, ain't nobody gonna destroy Asgard but me. and her thing is like, she doesn't even truly want to destroy it. She just wants everyone to worship her. She just wants and it's not even a thing because she wants to rule the people or tell them what to do. She just wants them to tell her how great she is.
Yeah. Because
she is selfish.
The diva.
The diva, actually. Okay. It's there.
Listen, I get a lot of Enchantress in these Captain Marvel books, and I see what you mean.
You keep trying to push that in there, like I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. But no, I know that Kelly Thompson just wants to write an Enchantress book, so
I mean, yeah.
I'm just waiting for that to happen instead. I think another villain. So this is a villain I actually don't talk about too much because I don't really read the character, but I really love Tombstone.
Oh, okay. And like a Spider-Man villain.
And also to that extent, Black Mask.
Okay.
But like Tombstone especially. First of all, Spider-Man has probably one of the best rogues gallery in all of comic books. I will never. I know we talk a lot about who has it between like him, Batman, Superman. I hear Flash has some really good ones too, but I don't think they're as iconic as the other threes.
Fair.
But Spider-Man's folks, Kraven,
Electro.
Vulture, Shocker, Electro, like the list goes on and on. But Tombstone is down there as one of my favorites. Again, he's just kind of a guy who's really all about himself. He's like trying to rule the underground, but it's really just like, it's about me.
Got it.
What I want, and his design is really hot too.
So you like a selfish villain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just feel like
I like a genocidal villain, just in the dog.
Because I think once you kind of take that away from them, you start to get to your sympathetic villains.
Yeah.
And I think while sympathetic villains are needed every now and again, my favorite ones are not sympathetic.
Yeah, I prefer not like a sympathetic villain. Like I don't need that. Sympathy for what?
I'm here for you to know that you are a bad person and you're doing bad things, and you're okay with that because hey, you gotta be, I guess.
That's your purpose there.
So that's always fun to me. Who do you have any like? I think about someone like Sabretooth, who has. A lot of people know is primarily I won't even use Sabretooth. I'll use Rogue as an example, actually. Or Mystique, how everyone primarily saw them as kind of antagonists to the X-Men, but Mystique used to fight Captain Marvel all the time as well, and send Rogue after Captain Marvel. Do you have any villains like that who you wish would jump over to somebody else?
Oh, and like kind of fight other characters and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I used to. And I maybe still kind of want them to do this. I used to really want AIM and they're like in my top 5 favorite villains too, like AIM and Graviton and like all of that whole thing. I used to really want them to kind of be villains for the Fantastic Four, and like kind of have that whole science-y kind of feel between the two of them.
Yeah.
Now I actually want them to be something for like the Avengers West Coast thing that I was talking about. And I'm not really enjoying the Fantastic Four books right now, so like I would rather save that idea for another time. But I would love for them to, because they usually always primarily have them become Avengers villains. I would love to have them be Fantastic Four villains. Most Fantastic Four villains end up, going out into the world and being villains for everybody else too. I think that I would love to see like AIM and all of them kind of be villains against.
You're speaking of your top 5, so who are your top 5 altogether?
Okay, so it would definitely be Bastion and Nimrod. I kind of put those two together. Doom, Ultron.
Okay, you have spoken on
him. Sinestro.
Oh, okay.
I love Sinestro. Again, he's just, he does not care. So I do love this Sinestro and the Sinestro Corps. And my final one is AIM and Graviton. Kind of like I kind of have Graviton as the main villain there, and AIM kind of like his connection, like the little minions or whatever beneath him.
Bastion's a good one.
Bubbling under for me is Taskmaster. Although I try not to look at him like a villain, but I get it.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a nice list. Yeah, you love some genocide. You love a world ender. I respect it though.
It's because I've always looked at like Nimrod and Bastion and Sinestro and Ultron. Like when they are bringing all of them and all of their enemies, it really gives something for the heroes to stand up against, And I want to see my heroes be challenged and actually like use their powers and do all that kind of stuff and be pushed. So I like these kind of, usually the world enders like this, they tend to get the job done at the end of the day. It actually like pushes the hero to like, kind of rise above it all.
Okay, I'm into it. I like a couple of those. I can rock with them.
Bastion's it.
Bastion's definitely hot. Like I'm like maybe I should take someone off my list. But Bastion instead.
Do you prefer Bastion with a Nimrod? Or do you kind of see them as the same character, kind of?
Yeah, sometimes. I think I would put Nimrod more on the solo tip just because I feel like he gets a little bit more play, especially after Hoxpox.
Yeah.
He's been elevated a little bit. I would have put Bastion above him before that though.
Yeah.
Dang, but Bastion's good.
Ain't he good?
That's a real good one.
He's definitely my
so I have my little list here. Obviously, I just spoke about Tombstone and Black Manta. They're on there. Enchantress, she's definitely on there for sure. I had Deathstroke on there. He was the one I was thinking about replacing with Bastion, though. But I love Deathstroke. I don't think I've ever hidden the fact I'm a huge fan of the new Teen Titans era from Perez and Wolfman, and Deathstroke was
which I've been reading, by the way. Finally getting into. I've only read like a couple issues of it randomly, but I've finally been reading it from the beginning, and wow, they kind of are the blueprint
for like blueprint. Yes.
Kind of like
oh my god.
Blueprint for like a young adult like kind of character. Like they're kind of the blueprint.
We're definitely gonna have to talk more about that as you get further into the run. Like it is truly, I know everybody loves the X-Men and all that stuff, and the X-Men stories are great, but like that is one of the things that made me look at like, oh wow, this is a comic book. Especially when I was first getting into them, and I just happened to pick up the trade of the Judas Contract. Still one of my top 5 comic books of all time. Events, like everything. But reading into that, Deathstroke is kind of a big antagonist for the team, and it shows truly just how like deadly he is, how capable he is. Again, I think of things like Identity Crisis, even the solo series that he had written by Christopher Priest. Deathstroke is very much a guy who like does bad things and does not care. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but he's like very good at what he does, and a lot of things that he does are just motivated for himself. He was a mercenary for so long, like he just wanted to kill the Titans because he thought, I'll kill myself. uh, so love him. And the last, or my fifth on my list would be Brother Blood in the Church of Blood. Again,
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't expect that one, but I should have known.
again, again, I love a cult. So when Coven Akaba like was introduced, I was like, oh yes, this is kind of what we're gonna be from Church of Blood type stuff. But honestly, it's not that. But whatever, that's fine. But the Church of Blood is iconic. Brother Blood, Mother Blood, and it's so crazy how much I enjoy them because I do not like Raven at all.
Yeah, you don't.
Right. And
Which
I'm
is fair.
always
Reading this Perez run has really kind of opened my eyes more to Raven. I knew that the cartoon, the Teen Titans animated series, had kind of altered her powers before, and I was like, okay, I don't think that she can do all of this, but and I
she's
knew that she had some
useless.
other kind of abilities, but reading this Perez run, like, she's kind of useless.
She is useless. Like she is truly like the worst character ever. She does nothing. She will pass out. She will literally run for. I'll never forget in one of the Titans books I read when I was starting to get into that era. I
She
picked
passes
up.
out a lot. Like, y'all trying to
She
say something about Jean, but like she passed out a lot in
she
this.
passes out all the time, and it's at the smallest thing, and then she'll literally run from a fight. Like she'll be standing on the side, like, oh, watching the team struggle, and she'd be like, she'll be standing on the side hiding, watching the team struggle. She was like, oh, I wish I could help, but I'm just so weak, I can't do anything. I'm so tired. I already used my energy to teleport from one side of the room to the other, and then when the battle's over, she teleports in, like, what's up? And it's just like, yo. I cannot stand her. But the Church of Blood is, and I think also a big thing about the Church of Blood is they kind of know Raven's useless. They are truly just using her as a conduit to bring Trigon back, who is the real power. But they're creepy. They got good costumes. All the Brother Blood designs are hot. Uh, they typically get what they want in some form or fashion.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
They were pretty interesting when they were brought up in that I don't know if you saw that Teen Titans movie of the Jews contract. We should
yeah.
probably add that to our list of like rewatches one day. But the brother blood and like that cult was in it, and they were really cool.
Like
Some great
the
designs.
I tell people all the time. I know if you've never read again the Wolfman and Perez Terror of Trigon story, like highly recommend it. Getting
Hmm.
to see the church and Trigon and like what they really do and how they do it. Even Jeff Johns, he did a nice little Brother
Yeah, he
Blood story,
did.
his
Yeah.
run, which was pretty cool. I think someone else has tried to do it, but they're great. I think they should actually finally move beyond Raven and just become a general DC villain group.
Yeah, that would be dope. I see. The best thing that probably happened to Raven is recently. I think they've been trying to give her more
Okay.
magical abilities and like some other stuff. But like the stuff I've been reading right now, I'm like, she is in the way.
She's not there. And I think what's happened now is like since the new 52 and all the reboots and things, they have tried to make her seem a little bit more like the cartoon to give her like some telekinesis and stuff like that. But she doesn't use it.
Mm-mm.
Like she's literally there to be the empath and use her soul self. And it's
A
just like
lot of empathy stuff in her, like taking the pain away from people.
it is bad. So I also, as you read this, pay attention to Raven's face, and then let me know when you get to the Terror of Trigon storyline.
Okay.
Uh, those are the only things I'm just gonna say. Like pay attention,
Okay.
as you get through the arcs, just like really pay attention to how she's drawn, and then let me know when you get to Terra Trigon.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, speaking of Trigon, do you like villains like that, like the big omnipotent being kind of villain?
They're fine. I think they're necessary every now and again.
Hmm.
You really do have to have someone who has like that big power to like kind of get, I guess, show the ingenuity of your heroes to like, oh, can they overcome this? How will they do it? Uh, they
Because
can be
those kind of
tricky,
villains you can never
fully
like
get rid of,
kill or get rid of. It's all about how you like, I don't know, just take them
trap
off the board
them.
or trap them or something.
Yeah. And I like them for that. I like it. Justice League Dark is kind of doing that right now with the current villain, the Upside Down Man. He has been like consistent since the run began, and he's one who they never fully defeat. They just kind of tap him off. And so I think it's interesting in a way to see how they continue to fight this without being able to defeat it. I do think some of them eventually need to get to a place where they can die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because just, I don't know, make him reborn or put him in another body. I don't know, do something. Not a body swap.
You've been down that road.
Not a body swap. But I don't know. I think any good writer can really reinvent a villain.
Ewing, Galactus. Instead of having him destroy worlds, I think he had them create new life, right? Yeah.
And then I remember a lot of fans were actually kind of upset when he went back to destroying worlds.
Yeah.
So, I get it. Again, I understand their purpose. I don't need them all the time, but again, you think about me and the type of stories I like, I'm very much the street level guy. So,
yeah. Fair.
I don't need that all the time. Fighting a Trigon every once in a while, cool. Every day though, nah. Take that to space.
I see. We'll need all of that up here. That's too much.
Take that on up there. We don't need it down.
Now, I do appreciate up here when the villain has like those generals that the hero. I do appreciate that kind of trope.
Yeah, I love that Black Order type stuff.
Yeah, I do appreciate that.
The Iraqi mutants of X of Swords. Shout out to X of Swords. What an event that is still making waves through the books to this day.
It's doing something.
I love it.
That's for sure. It's doing something. I don't know how much it's doing for everybody else, but it's doing something.
I mean, if you are Captain Betsy or an Iraqi mutant, you're good.
Yeah.
Or Apocalypse. The Hitmakers. I don't know.
They had that Sinister Secret that was like, hey, you want to find out what's going on with your favorite guy and his family? Too bad you got to wait.
Jean and Cyclops wouldn't be making this team if it weren't for X of Swords.
Fair.
Like,
I still think I have a theory for why Jean is in that skirt that she's in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, are we gonna talk about the green dress real quick?
Real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Hickman had an interview that came out right after Hoxpox because people were asking why is she back in this green dress, and he was like, I'm surprised no one has figured it out. Look to the past for. I'll give you a hint. Like look to the past for why she's in it now. And Gina's been in that green dress twice. Once when she first put it on, when it was supposed to be like when they kind of graduated from the X-Men, like the original five, and she created that dress for herself. Second time was when she died in it, basically.
Died on the moon.
And died on the moon as the Phoenix. But I think both of those times she was her like core self, which was fighting with the X-Men with her man. Which I think he was trying to give you a hint at like what was kind of coming, that she was eventually going to be leading the X-Men with Cyclops. I think that's kind of what he's trying to show with her in this green dress, and like that was kind of like the core of her was Marvel Girl.
So now that has happened, do you think she'll move out of it?
Probably, because I would assume that this team is probably gonna get like a team look. Although Lorna was the only one that kind of got a new costume, I still do think that like probably I don't know actually, because maybe they could be trying to show that like these are their X-Men costumes. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's got a mask.
True.
I like Jean in the green dress. I think it's cool. I think it's neat. I think I do agree that sometimes I think the glove should be updated.
Yeah.
those do get very dishwashing gloves. I'll never forget someone tweeted me a picture of the mom from Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
And like nothing has ever been more apt. But I agree that I think if that is the thinking of when, why Jean is wearing this outfit, yeah, those are Jean at her like best moments. I mean, I guess her best self.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
Jean.
She is.
She's gonna be on the X-Men and like fight for mutants.
She gonna be with her husband.
She's gonna be with her man.
Her mom. She is the caretaker. That's
yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I like it.
uh-huh.
I think it's cool. She has her hair out. She be flying. It has good motion in the skirt. She'll like do that thing where she puts her head up to her hand up to her temples, and she's like, it's hot. Green and yellow are her colors. It's a classic. The little retro go-go boots. The belt. That is a good Jean. All right.
If the mask wasn't so high, it wouldn't be so bad and like horned.
I feel like she should say that the mask is like an ode to. Oh my God, her and Wolverine together with their little pointy mask. That is so cute.
You're so shady.
That is so cute.
Oh wow. I don't think she's trying to give homage to her side piece in her.
Is it a side piece? I don't know. This might be a little too old for some demographics. But like Jean, Cyclops, and Wolverine. Actually, I'm not gonna talk about that right now. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah,
that's gonna be an after dark episode.
Okay. I do see that they're gonna be fighting some like newer villains though in this new X-Men run. I don't know what that like giant squid thing is.
Yeah, not at all. But Loras does some really great character design, so I'm excited to get more to that and see what else he has. Oh my gosh! Speaking of, who I forgot to put on this list? The Children of the Vault.
Oh,
I do.
Do you like them? Okay.
Yeah, I love them. Especially because I was thinking about character designs. I thought they have amazing designs, especially like when they first came on the scene. Seraphina and the little like white and black stripe, and then when we got that issue of Wolverine, Sync, and Darwin in the vault, and we saw all of the other ones, and we saw how they kind of changed. Like they always look good. They're good. Good folks.
They do. Okay. They do have some fun designs. I have never really seen like more of them outside of these more recent issues. I feel like they aren't even really used that often.
No, I think Mike Carey used them in 2 separate arcs, and then this is the first time we've seen them since.
Since then, right? Yeah. They're fun designs, cool powers.
Very much so. But so that was it. I just want to talk villains, talk some bad guys, talk some mess. We got a little Jean Grey in there too. But let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back and talk Loki.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hello, everybody. We are back. Into this portion, we are doing this week's another rewatch or first watch, whichever one you did. You might have rewatched it right after you did it. But we're getting into Loki, the newest Marvel Disney Plus release. Every Wednesday, we're gonna be there. I mean, maybe. So give me your like just general overview. Were you into the show? Were you feeling it? Were you intrigued?
Okay, so like first and foremost, I have made it no secret on this show that I am not a fan of time travel and like redundancy and all that kind of stuff from time travel. So, and I really don't like the multiverse. so already within the first 5 minutes, in big words, it says like multiverse, and I'm like, oh great, okay, cool. I don't think this is really made for me. But I will say that it's pretty cool to see the way that they're handling like the multiverse and time travel and explaining all that kind of stuff. I personally am not interested in that, or I also think that we are kind of past Loki at this point, and we're kind of dragging it, but whatever. I will say the show itself is like very well done. I feel like there has been a standard now kind of set with Disney Plus superhero TV shows for me, and kind of what I expect from them. There's no secret, again, that when it comes to these superhero shows, the TV ones anyway, like I'm not really into them because the budget is really there. Starfire is my girl, love her down, but like that Titan show, can't do it. Sorry.
What?
Can't do it.
You didn't finish the first season, did you?
I did.
Did you start the second?
Yeah.
You're crazy. I think you need to sit with.
My God.
You need to let the budget thing go. The budget's never going to be there.
That's the thing, though. When I'm watching these Disney Plus shows, the budget is there.
You cannot compare those two budgets. You should not be comparing those two budgets at all.
You know,
you need what have we been talking about? You have to meet people where they're at.
Yes,
all right.
Exactly. You do. Or you have to do the follow up to that, or you don't. I don't. Meet them where you're at, or you don't. But I will say, like, Loki is very well done. Like the set pieces and all that kind of stuff look great. The CGI all looks fantastic. I didn't see any kind of.
I really like their suits too as well.
Yeah, I liked the kind of those doorways and stuff that they would walk through. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is going to be an interesting show. I think I'll probably enjoy like the finale and whatever they kind of do as far as the big thing that pushes the MCU even forward, like every other show has really done so far. Yeah. But so far, it's all right.
Okay, I think that's valid. I kind of agree with your point about being past Loki. I'm also supposed to be doing a Loki reread of all of his stories in Marvel to like see how I feel about it. So I'm probably going to actually do that after the show. So my feelings might change and I might have to talk about them again. But right now it's just I'm kind of Loki'd out. I think I agree with I'm more excited to see how this will tie into the greater Marvel universe and just like what's going on, the little Easter eggs we get. I think like the bits about having multiple Infinity Stones is really nice. I don't necessarily despise the multiverse, but I think it's better done in small doses. Knowing we have this and then we have Doctor Strange.
I mean, did you see that big splash of like Nexus?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Doctor Strange is the multiverse of madness, and all that's going to tie into depth. So I guess I'm fine with it if we like do it in these and we get it done. I don't think I want to see it continue after that. I do agree. I like the kind of process of how they're dealing with the Marvel continuity and like able to fix all these little plot holes that we might have gotten over the years. And I like a lot of the cast.
Yeah.
I think the cast themselves is very enjoyable. I agree with you in the sense that I do not like time travel. But I like that they're following someone through time. It's not like they're just time traveling just because. Like they're going with a purpose. We're trying to find the other Loki, which I think might be Lady Loki.
You think so? So like the entire premise of this episode has been it opens with Loki from the movie Endgame. And if you remember the scene where he kind of picked up the Tesseract and floated away and everyone was like, that's obviously going to be for some kind of TV show. Well, this is the TV show that it was for. And it opens exactly with that. And we see that he is stranded out in like the desert and he gets picked up and it's all about him being joined up with the TVA and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I feel like I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about Loki.
I was saying that I think the other Loki is Lady Loki.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I do. I think that the other Loki is Lady Loki.
Which would be really interesting. Again, I don't remember how Lady Loki really came about in the Marvel Universe. It was something that I was supposed to figure out when I was doing my reread. But hopefully before the show ends, I'll have gotten there. So if it is her, I have a little bit more insight to talk about her. But I think that'll be a really interesting thing if it is. And it'll also be really interesting to see why she's going through like all these different phases of time and like killing people or whatever.
Yeah, in those specific moments and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
I would like it to be Lady Loki. I won't be upset if it isn't. So, I try not to make this another like Mephisto situation. Although I was never one that wanted Mephisto, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't want to think of it something like that. But yeah, I feel like this show would be interesting. I did notice that the judge who kind of sentenced Loki and was kind of presiding over his case with the TVA. Gugu, I can't remember how you pronounce her last name.
Gugu Mbatha-Raw.
Yes, very pretty.
Beautiful. Love her.
Gorgeous. She plays Ravonna.
Ravonna?
Yeah. And Ravonna is I'm gonna get really timey people here and like sciencey, but Ravonna is like Kang's love interest. So, sorry, spoiler alert for anyone who may not have known that, but she is playing like the reason that Kang is kind of a villain. Which I wonder if they're going to use this as a way to bring in Kang.
That would be really nice, actually.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting.
So like their backstory is Kang was trying to take over like her timeline. And they did the whole trope of he fell in love with her. She kind of was reluctant about liking him. Then she did fall in love with him. And then like a last moment, one of his generals like turned on him while he was trying to take over something. And she like jumped in front of the bullet and took it for him.
Always jumping in front of a man.
I know. That'll always be your downfall, ladies. Don't do it. Don't do it. And that, of course, caused him to want to control time and not have her die. So I wonder if that is like the way to bring in Kang.
And then, Jonathan Majors as Kang. That's a hot couple right there.
That's a hot couple, right?
That's a hot couple. Okay, I'm into that. I would be into that. But again, like I think this is my thing with Loki. I think all of the secondary, tertiary characters are going to be a lot more interesting than himself in the show for me. Which is strange because I love me some Asgard. I did like the little flashbacks we got to Asgard and we saw some people there. We saw the Bifrost, which was really nice. But everyone else so far in this first episode is a lot more engaging.
Yeah, because I did not care about him. 2012 Loki looking at all of his past like killings and his futures and all that kind of stuff and crying about it.
Yeah. And weren't we just talking about sympathetic villains? I don't need
it. See?
I don't need it.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever kind of implications he brings with the show, that'll be cool, but we'll see.
We shall.
What would you rate this episode?
The episode was solid. I mean, I think I would honestly give the episode a 4 out of 5. Like, it was like you said, the set looked great. CGI was good. I think it was well acted. I think the people are interesting. Time travel is not really my bag, but I can see where it's good for the people who it is.
Yeah. If you're fans of Loki, you definitely are into this. And fans of Tom Hiddleston and all that, for sure. I gave this like a solid 3.5 out of 5. Like, it was a great first episode, even if it's not something that I genuinely am like kind of into. I still think that it was pretty good. It hit the MCU like standard for me, you know.
Agreed.
Right on that page. All right, y'all. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Please make sure you are following us on Twitter or Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can send us any questions, comments, concerns, all that good jazz at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube if you want to watch the show, and at Another Relaunch at TV. You can also find me on most social media platforms at Uncanny LZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You know, you can find me at Keenan Lance, and there's an underscore at the end. I do think I'm going to change it again. I think I'm back on that path.
We talked about this before.
We did, and it didn't happen. But I don't know. My birthday just recently passed, and so I'm entering in a new era. So you know that Britney GIF that I use all the time on Twitter? It was one that I had like searched through the Twitter GIF thing, and it was in my frequently used, so I could always just go back. There was #1. I don't know what happened with that stupid thing, but it like cleared my entire frequently used GIF, so I lost it, and I can't use it anymore. I mean, I can use it if I like just repost it or something, but it's not readily available. And then I've been searching for it and I can't find it. So I was like, maybe this was a sign, it's time to find a new white woman to post it.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Britney though.
It's time. I know. It's just she works with everything. But I was just like, maybe it's time to find a new white woman to embody my heroes. So that's where we're at.
All right, y'all. Catch us next week. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.